can you have a collective exhale? Alabama Nation. Tide got the job done, but whew, it was a tight one. But Tide victorious 10-0 over the LSU Tigers. What a defensive battle it was, but hey, all you have to do is keep winning. And Alabama getting the first shutout on the road for the first time since November 16th, 2002. Nick Saban was actually the head coach of the LSU Tigers at that time. Alabama won that game 31-0. As I said, that was the last time Alabama shut out a ranked opponent on the road. But this defense is proving once again that it's not only Alabama's most athletic defense, it is its most dominant defense to step out on the field. Hey, welcome into First Response. I'm Martin Houston, right here on Tide 1029, 100.9 on your radio dial. This is Tide 1029 fan page. You can join us each and every week after Alabama plays, immediately following the game. Want to get into the stats here in just a moment, but want to ask you, hey, who were your players of the game? What was the game-changing moments? I know it was a somewhat of a ugly game, but still had some guys that made some big-time plays on the offense and the defense. Maybe you want to talk about your good, bad, and ugly. Whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about right here on Tide 1029 fan page. This is First Response, so go ahead and let me know what you're thinking. But as I said, you just have to keep getting the victories. Alabama, even though the score doesn't indicate it, dominated the LSU Tigers and finished with a very, very strong second half. Things kind of got off to a bad start in the first half. But let's go through a couple stats real quick of the team, and then we'll get into some individual things. First downs, Alabama won that battle 16-6 with 7 of 17 on third down, holding LSU to 4 of 15. One of the crazy stats of the game, LSU had 6 first downs, but 8 punts. So Alabama 1 of 2 on fourth down. Of course, one of those fourth downs coming up a little short on the goal line, so we did leave 3 to 7 points on the field. Total yards for Alabama, 323, 125 for LSU. Passing yards, 107, Alabama, 92, LSU. On 10 of 19, wasn't a great game for Hurts, especially in the passing game, but he did something that I said he would have to do, and he did that tonight, and he did complete a deep ball. I think the only one we really attempted to Darius Stewart. The rushing game was not spectacular, but that was a really, really good LSU defense, and I have to apologize to them. I did not think this LSU defense was that good. I thought they were overrated and overhyped, but they proved me wrong, holding Alabama to 216 yards on 51 carries. Hurts, as a freshman, I think he grew up in this game and made some big time plays. Of course, he had 2 turnovers. LSU only had 1. Alabama wins the possession, 33-55 to 26-05. But when you look at this game and the big time plays, where do you start except for to talk about this defense? Danny knows I got to totally disagree with you. If you say you're saying something about Bo played lights out. They did not use him enough. I think that they should have used Bo even more. Believe me, I think he was a major factor in this game. If we had lined up and went with him deep, I think we would have had a totally different thing. Bo had 11 carries for 52 yards, and it was workman-type yards. I think we could have done more if we had just used him. But Jalen Hurts, of course, led the team with 114 yards, breaking 100 yards again, 5.7 per carry with 20, none bigger than his 21-yard touchdown run. What I want to talk about when it comes to Jalen Hurts, and obviously he's my offensive player of the game, even though, like I said, he had two really bad turnovers, started the game off with one and then the fumble. But what a response once again. 0-0. He fumbles the ball, and what does he do the rest of the game? It takes Alabama on a long scoring drive and then comes back and attempting to just get into field goal position, gets another first down, doesn't go out of bounds. The clock keeps running, and then he was able to. Ultimately, we got 3, but we ran off over a 9-minute drive in the fourth quarter, pretty much sealing the game when we came in with the field goal. But let me flip over to the defensive side of the ball, and I have to agree with you, Brandon Kidd. The Riley linebacker may be an underrated player for LSU, but Alabama's defense came into this game. Jonathan Allen didn't have anything spectacular happen for him tonight, but he made the statement. He said, we must dominate and control the line of scrimmage, and we absolutely did that as the Alabama Crimson Tide had held Leonard Fournette to a 17-carry, 35 yards, 2.1 average per carry night. LSU had a combined total of 33 rushing yards on 27 carries, 1.2 yards per average. The long of the night was a 99-yard run. So I'm telling you, man, this defense is absolutely Nick Saban's best defense. Their average was coming into the game a little over 2 yards. It may be under 1 yard for per carry for the year. But I have to give a shout out to the guy that, if you missed the pregame show that we did, I said one of the candidates to look for in terms of being the player of the game was going to be Ryan Anderson. And once again, Ryan Anderson made an unbelievable play, which led to the interception by hitting the quarterback and then Minka picking it off. And the defense just dominated. I don't think LSU would have ever scored in this game. But it was another one of those typical LSU Alabama games where you have two talented world champion heavyweight fighters who are literally going after each other. My player of the game on the defense is Ryan Anderson because that play once again made it. But you could have so many guys. Everybody played big time. A little bit in the first half was a little bit concerned about Marlon Humphrey. He's going to have to step up his game a little bit. But overall, a couple key things in the game, I think, that totally got Alabama off was field position. We started off in bad field position in the first half. Then we had to turn over. But great play by the defense to block the kick. And speaking of kicking, we're going to have to do something about our kicking game, or we're going to have to make sure it doesn't come down to that. I have zero confidence in our kicker's ability to be able to win a game in a pressure situation. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's just not consistent. Adam Griffin. I look at this game, and one of my key things to look for was how Lane Kiffin would call the game. And Kiffin, to me, he just didn't do what we needed to do. He kept trying to get outside early in the game, and it just wasn't there. And it looked like we could have hammered the ball in ultimately at the end. But Alabama took the fight to LSU for 4 quarters. And I agree with you, Brandon Nickel. LSU looked gassed at the line, both on the offensive and defensive line by the end of the fourth quarter. But they have some unbelievable linebackers on that field. Jalen Hurts had his freshman game. We were wondering when it was going to happen. He had that freshman game with the 2 turnovers and a couple of mistakes. But what he did that once again impressed me was his response to adversity. He was able to come back, lead his team down the field, and make a couple big-time plays. As we wrap up, we're not going to go too long tonight because I don't know about you, but man, what a battle! I don't know if you like those types of games or you really Alabama to be blowing them out. I like them close, but would like to put it away a little bit early. The guys I'm going to give a shout out to as I wrap things up is, first of all, Jalen Hurts for his response, and he is my player of the game, what he did and the way he responded. But I got to give a shout out to Bo Scarborough because to me he ran and made a huge difference. And then last but not least on the defensive side of the ball, shout out to Ryan Anderson and Minka for making the adjustment. And Eddie Jackson was not missed on the defensive side of the ball, but he was missed on the he was missed when it comes to the actual punt return. We had a couple things. Say hi to everybody. This is my grandson Brayton. Say hey. So, but it is absolutely amazing what happened in terms of the punt game and the field position. We finally did get that flipped around and was able to move the ball down the field. Just one last thing I want to give you, good, bad, and ugly. And the good, bad, and the ugly is that, first of all, defense, I don't know if you're good is enough to describe what they were doing. Ugly is the field position and the execution in the first quarter, the first half. And then the ugly is our kicker missing the field goal once again was ugly. But the other side of that is that Alabama Crimson Tide has moved to 9-0, 21 games in a row, dominance on the defensive side of the ball, and this team can make it to 15-0. We got our bad game out of the way, we hope, but with the results of today, Texas A&M losing, Auburn winning, Alabama winning, I think Alabama should win their next 2 games. Auburn should be favored in their next 2 games. Looks like there's going to be a showdown in T-Town for all the marbles, almost resetting what happened back in 2013, but it'll be on our home field. I want to encourage you to make sure you make plans. We are planning on doing a pregame show for the Iron Bowl, so that'll be probably about an hour before kickoff, whatever time the Iron Bowl is set up. I'm Martin Houston. I'm a regular host on the Morning Blitz, which airs on Tide 102.9 every weekday morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. You can be a part of that show by tuning in online at tide1029.com or go out to my personal fan page, and my personal fan page is martinhouston.org, and my personal page is just Martin Houston. You can find me there. So I want to make sure that you're able to be a part of that. And guys, Alabama, what they're doing, I know we didn't blow this team out, but celebrate this win. We got 2 easy ones coming up that we should take care of, and we'll see what happens from there. Thank you for being a part of the Tide 1029 radio network, Tide1029.com, 100.9, 1029.com, and of course right here on Tide 1029 fan page. This is First Response Post-Game Show. I'm Martin Houston saying Roll Tide. Alabama once again with a dominant performance, 10-0 against the LSU Tigers, shutting out their opponent, holding them to under net of 1.2 yards per carry. Fournette, 35 total yards on 17 carries. He finishes his career with 57 carries and 145 yards, because I know he won't be back next year against Alabama. This defense is the real deal. Jalen Hurts is the real deal. Alabama Crimson Tide 9-0. Roll Tide and have a blessed day.